Yo, what it do?
Peace, peace.
Peace, peace. We are back. Give me 1 second to get everything cleared. What's good, homie?
Chilling, bro. How you been, man?
Man, finally made it home for a show, man. I was on the road what last 3 weeks. Had to do it from the hotel. So
Yeah,
now I'm back at the pad, man.
yeah. This the first time in a while you ain't been tardy for a show.
Yo, we did not discuss that, man. We did not discuss that at all, bro. We just had a conversation behind the scenes, but we came on live to say, yo, let's have a good one. Let's
Yeah,
have a good conversation. And you want to come out here throwing jabs, man. No, come
I
on,
can't
bro.
help it sometimes, man. My fault. My fault.
I'm sorry, I'm getting messages, man. How you feeling, bro? How's everything for you this week, man? Memorial Day was on Monday, and kick off the week in West Virginia. How you guys doing out there?
Yeah, everything was good, man. More so relaxing the weekend. You know what I'm saying? From the weekly grind, didn't do nothing too crazy, but just chilling. Listening to some good music, getting ready for the show today.
Okay, okay. Did y'all do any festivities in West Virginia? Like, do y'all do anything for like, for stuff like this? You know what I mean? Like for anything? Like, for for Memorial Day weekend, do y'all do
I mean,
anything in West Virginia?
I mean, I might, I might be pulling for your memorial next year. You keep talking.
I'm just asking, man. I'm not asking for no violence. I'm just asking. I'm just saying, like, do y'all do anything for Memorial Day weekend in West Virginia?
See, you talk about me and you come out throwing jabs, man. Like that's crazy.
I just
Yo,
asked, bro. I'm sorry. I just asked. I
yo,
don't want to
shout out to Trife. Shout out to Trife. What's good, bro?
Try Boogie. What up, Try Boogie? I just asked, man, because I don't, I did 20 years in the Marine Corps. I mean, Memorial Day is one of those things people get confused, with Veterans Day. So I just didn't know if you guys do stuff. One of my homeboys called me. He texted me, I'm sorry. He texted me like, yo, we about to put some Franks on the grill and have a contest. I'm like, yo, y'all about to do a glizzy contest on Memorial Day. Like, that don't even feel right anymore, boy. Like, I don't even know how to respond. I didn't respond to him on the text. I just shook my
Yo,
head and like, yo, they're about to do a glizzy contest. And he texted
nah,
me saying I got some
that's
Franks on the
that's
grill.
nasty. No glizzy contest over here.
No glizzy. No, I didn't even ask like what kind. I didn't even say, yo, did you get the ballpark? Did you get the did you get
The BBL glizzy.
the glizzy? I don't even want none of that. I don't want to even know. So
Yo,
I hope they have fun, I guess. Pause. But yo, we back in the building, man. Last week we didn't get a chance to do a live show. We actually did a pre-recording and we posted it. So I appreciate all of you who actually pulled up last week to rock with us on our pre-record. We apologize. Hold on. So I'll just get a message at the same time. We had actually did a pre-record, and we appreciate you all pulling up. We were actually in the chat during the pre-record show, just trying to connect with the people and let them know. We all have different schedules and everything. This is my first time back at the crib in the past 4 weeks now. So shout out to AG, shout out to Coop for keeping the show going and everything like that. Coop not going to be able to make it tonight. We actually did a show earlier today that we're going to drop tomorrow with Coop on there. We have a series here. It's going to be a pretty good series that we want to do for y'all because this is our 10th episode. This is a milestone episode. We are way ahead of schedule. And I'm feeling good about what we got going on for tonight. We got going on for the weekend for all of you with content. We have a whole bag of content that we wanted to like really share with the masses. Just things we were talking about behind the scenes and also everything that's going on in the news out there in the hip hop world as well. So we want to just really dive into it, man. Let's talk about some new music, bro. That Wu-Tang, is coming up with the whole Shaolin joint, man. What are you
okay.
feeling about that?
That's a crazy situation. That might be the most controversial album of all time. And for the people, salute to the chat for pulling up. Glad to have y'all here at our 10th episode. You want to break down a little quick history lesson on that album for those who ain't privy to it?
Yeah, real quick. I saw somebody hop in the back. That's low key. We got low key from Apple just hop in.
Oh, what's up, Lo? What's good?
What up, though? What
Yo,
up, though? What up, though?
What's
what it
good,
do,
Lo?
man?
Y'all can hear me?
How you feeling, bro?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. We're good. What we talking about?
Peace,
I heard
peace.
I
We
I heard I had to be here for about 20, 25 minutes. Give y'all
Yeah.
niggas some hell.
Yeah, at the hookah spot, I see.
At the hookah spot. At the
I've been
hookah
running
spot.
around. I've been running around all day, bro. Tired, but I'm here for the comedy.
No
No
doubt.
doubt, no doubt. We talking about that once upon a time in Shaolin album. You know what I'm saying? They looks like they're gonna preview some of the album in Tasmania, Australia. You know, coming in June. They got like I think about a week or a 2 week span. I think June 15th through the 24th. They're gonna preview about a half an hour of the album in, you know, little private sessions where you can listen to, you know, little snippets, you know, throughout the album or whatever, and you got to pay to visit. It's at a museum. The museum is called the Museum of Old and New Art in Tasmania, Australia. So, what you got to think about that, Sean?
I mean, listen, that's hip hop. That it's history. It's bringing people into a time that people want to privy to or part of. You gotta you gotta soak it in and just love how it's being presented or being represented. For the world of hip hop. Like that's just it ain't nothing bad to say about it.
Yeah, it's a lot of controversy surrounding that album if we, you know, trace back to its origins, like because how the album was even made. You know, if you watch the Wu-Tang you know, documentary that came out on Showtime, how the album was even made was controversial. It was by Silver Rings, which is Wu-Tang affiliate, very close affiliations with RZA. He hit up a lot of clan members through a course of some years. You know, did some like, you know, cutting and pasting some verses and constructed his you know, Wu album that he produced. It's to my understanding a double album. I think it's like 31 tracks if I'm not mistaken. And they only pressed up one copy and the rest of the files were destroyed. And you know, it's a 2 disc CD copy, and then they wanted to present it as a work of art. So it's, you know, it has its encasing and it has the 2 CDs in there. It was auctioned off in like I think it was 2015. It went to Martin Shkreli, the pharmacist cat, who was pretty infamous because he marked up, I believe it was a cancer medication, something crazy like 5,000% like markup. Um, Dude ended up, he bought it for 2 million in the auction, the only existing copy. He ended up going to jail in 2018, but the feds had to seize a lot of his stuff. He had to forfeit a lot of stuff over to the feds, and it was like millions of dollars worth of stuff. And one of those things was the Wu-Tang album. And then it ended up going back up. I don't know if it was an auction, but a private in a private sale. Like we don't know who the buyer or the owner is, but they bought it for an undisclosed amount in 2021. So that kind of brings it up to speed, like the lineage of the album. A lot of the clan members themselves, you know, weren't really happy how the album was constructed or how it was sold. You know, RZA being quoted to say that a lot of, you know, the money he got off of it has been given to charity because of what, you know, the type of individual the pharmacist guy was. But it's just a controversial album, but I'm interested in seeing the reviews for the people who pay the money to, you know, go to this museum in Australia, what they think about when they hear this album. It's been previewed online some before. I think he played some on a live at one point in time. But for the general public, what I read, this was crazy. What RZA and Silver Rings decided upon when they auctioned it off was the album couldn't be released to the public for 88 years. It's a long time. It's a very long time. They landed on 8 because, you know, 8, you know, flipped on the side as infinity, and then it was 8 original members of the clan before Master Killer and You God, you know, became members. So it was a lot of significance in those numbers, but you know, it's a lot of generations.
Listen, man. Hey, let them figure that out.
Yeah.
I ain't nothing we can do about it.
No,
yeah, it's a couple generations they gonna be able to hear that.
We ain't gonna hear it. We ain't gonna
Nope.
buy it.
right.
We can't stream it. Let them figure that out. That's a family thing.
Yeah.
Let them,
And I'm not
sure, and I'm sure it holds very, very dear to all of the members of the Wu and just everybody affiliated with that conjunction of hip hop. So like we gotta let them figure that out. We gotta let them, you
Mm.
know, untangle whatever that family situation is. And it's, unfortunately it's been tossed around in the public and it's been auctioned off. And I remember that album was actually in an episode of Billions. It's, Billions is a show on Showtime,
Hmm.
and that album was referenced, in a deal that Axe and another young lady were doing whatever. But that's how deep it goes.
Right.
That's how extensive it gets. So, but in reality, we gotta let them figure that out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't even want to hear it. Not because I don't think it's good. I don't think it's not because I think it'd be whack or whatever. But like that's something they hold dear to their heart, and that's why it's been these situations and issues and legalities have been happening. So we gotta let them mend that. And when the world is ready to hear it, when we're entitled to hear it, then we'll hear it. So for them, for now, let them
Yeah.
do that.
No, that what you got, Sean?
No, I agree. I don't want to hear it. I'm a big Wu fan. I'm probably one of the biggest Wu fans you'll find out there. And because this doesn't feel right, because the clan is not even on board with this album.
Right.
So it's going to be pieced together. It's like you're getting uh verses from everybody and you putting it on one pot. They're not even together. They don't even know who's on what. They don't even know what they're rapping to. They were just getting verses out to a potential concept, and that concept has changed over the time before this album even got produced. So I'm not looking forward to it. I wish I understood where RZA was coming from. That's highly ambitious when it comes to doing something like that, but not for this, man. Not for the clan. The clan is part of the best group of all time, the greatest group of all time. You don't do that to the clan
You don't
and
do
to the
that. Yeah, you don't do
fans.
that. You
So
don't do
I
that to
don't,
them, and you don't do that to their legacy.
not at all, not at all,
Yeah.
not for their legacy,
So
not
yeah, I
for
agree
them.
with you. I definitely agree.
Yeah.
Though, so
We got some
low
people out in Australia though. Double Barrel, shout out to him. He out in Australia, so if he happened to swing by there and see what it do, then maybe we could have him on here and he could talk about it.
no
Hey,
doubt,
listen, if
no
that's the
doubt,
case, then that's the case. But I want it done the right way for them, just for their
absolutely,
legacy. For
Yeah.
those brothers
absolutely,
that have contributed so much to hip hop,
so much.
changed hip hop, shifted hip hop. Like they don't need to go out like this. So yeah.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. So check it. With Low being here, I know Low, you on here on the time crunch. Yo, AG, I want to pivot real quick because we have Low here, and
I'm
we
here.
got one of the things that we want Low to argue about.
Shout
Um,
wait, first off, shout out to my man Corey for giving me the headphones.
no
So
doubt. Shout out to
I didn't
Corey.
have to. Yeah, shout out to my nigga Corey.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yo, AG, I want to pivot real quick so
Yeah,
we
no
can
doubt.
like the true while we are here today because we're doing Low. So we're doing a series.
Okay.
This is our 10th episode, so we wanted to like a triple album CD type of feel. Um,
Ooh, ooh.
Cooper and I did something earlier today. We're going to release tomorrow, but we want to talk about the elephant that's in the room for the past several weeks. Something that you guys in Apple and Ebro, shout out to Ebro. He's been taking a lot of
Shout out to my guy
shots in
Ebro.
the gym. And
My guy.
he's holding up. He's holding up. People getting
He
personal,
always does. That's where I
always
get it
does,
from.
right? But he's one of the few that Nas even rock with, based on the fact that he's kept it funky, he's kept it real. And that's his opinion. It's his opinion. So we wanted to do an offspring to some of that by talking about this first part of our series, the greatest rappers versus the greatest albums, and we wanted to focus a lot on Nas, K. Dot, and Jay.
Okay.
Because you are a Hovenger, you might be the first Hovenger before Hovengers became a thing. You know what I mean? So we
Don't
definitely,
do me like that. Don't do me
I'm
like that,
hey,
bro.
we want to raise your blood pressure a little bit because we want to talk
I'm
about
I'm
that.
here for it. Let's go. Let's get to it.
Let's
Let's
go.
get to it.
So I want to start with you, AG, to be quite honest, because I know you a K. Dot fan as well. Um,
Mhm.
and we talked about, you shared your thoughts on K. Dot's best three albums and how this going to work, Lo. I want to get your thoughts and opinions as well. But let's have barbershop talk, man. Let's talk about these guys' catalog and let's
Let's
bring
go.
others into the fold as well.
Let's go.
So, AG, what you think about in comparison to the catalogs from Jay, Nas, and K. Dot, and just anyone else? But let's start with that three right there for right now.
I think I think that K Dot has a stellar catalog, although it's the breadth of it is not as much as some of the legends in the game, like Jay-Z and Nas, right? But he had put out quality material at a high clip early in his career. And you can argue about Mr. Morale being the fall off. But like I said, Jay and Nas got fall off albums as well. But, I think that you look confused, Lo. Out the gate already. They both do.
I'm listening. I'm listening.
We got to be honest about some of them albums. But the thing about K Dot's albums, I think they're a little bit they're great, they're classics, but I think because of the time they're a little bit overstated because of the field. You know what I mean? And he's standing out in a field that's very watered down, so to speak. You know what I mean? So a lot of his albums are going to get catapulted to a different level, whereas when Jay and Nas were putting out their classics, it was a lot of classics to be handed out all around, from the other counterparts. So me and Sean had a conversation behind the scenes based on solo rap artist's classic album. And, I'm a firm believer in all classics ain't created equal, right? So, just parsing it out, we was like talking about people's discography, but what would you say are their best 3 albums within their discography? And we got to talking about for Nas, you got Illmatic and It Was Written and Stillmatic. And then for K Dot, evidently you have Good Kid, Mad City, To Pimp a Butterfly and Damn. And then for Jay, you got Reasonable Doubt, Blueprint, Black Album. Those 3 stand out. What would be your third, Lo?
It's Reasonable Doubt, Volume 1, Blueprint.
You said Volume 1?
I think you being objective, that's a personal choice, but that the masses will put Black Album.
See now, all of this is very subjective, right?
Yeah.
If you're asking me what sold the most, then we can have that conversation. If you're asking me what album got the most accolades, then we can have that conversation. No one's gonna agree with Jay's 3 or Drake's 3 or Nas 3. Like all this is very, very subjective, right?
It is.
Where you at in that time of life when that album came out? What did it do for you? What was the impact that it had on your favorite artist or whatever the case is? Like we're never gonna agree on those 3 things that for all those artists that we revel and we love and we champion. Like we're just not gonna agree.
It's subjective, but there could be a consensus, right? You know what I mean? Because we know what the masses say. Like if it was supposed to be a poll on all socials or whatever, we know how the top 3 would probably shake out, right? And just to help you out a little bit, you better serve putting Black Album in there than Volume 1 anyway. I love Volume 1 myself, but if we're having this conversation, I think Black Album is better served in that conversation.
No.
You don't think?
Just no, not for me. I can't speak for y'all. I can't speak for the masses. I can't speak for the other whole Avengers. For me,
you're not the spokesperson. You're not.
You the one. You the first.
Okay, well, if I am the one, I'm telling you, go fucking listen to fucking Volume 1. If y'all gonna crown me, go listen to fucking Volume 1.
what was the commercial? I'm not only a client, I'm the Avenger president.
Like, if you're asking me, I'm telling you, go and listen to fucking Volume 1.
No, I love Volume 1. Volume 1 would be number 4, on my list for Jack.
And I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, so, that would be number 4.
Yeah.
Volume 1. Would you put Volume 1 over Kendrick's top 3? How would you rank Volume 1? If Volume 1 is number 2 in Jay's catalog, where would you place that amongst Kendrick's catalog?
And that's yeah, you're getting to the exact point. If we're placing all these albums in order with each other, where would Kendrick's albums land? And for me, with Jay and Nas in the fold, other than Good Kid, Mad City, maybe, Damn It, To Pimp a Butterflies under all of Nas and Jay's classics, in my opinion.
Not mad at that, but understand the climate, understand the consumer environment, understand the trajectory of where hip hop was when they made those and when these guys made these.
Hmm.
The ears and the eyes and the trajectory of hip hop is way different,
Hmm.
right? Like they're guys that help make those albums, help create those albums. Then there's guys on this side that help make those albums. Like they're looking at hip hop in a different way. They're looking at hip hop in a different way. So you can't even really do that
Well,
because
even
what
though the soundscape changes and times change, the impact of an album that's classic is timeless. You know, and all these albums that we're discussing has
who
had
you who
major
you
impact in all the
who,
different
who,
ways.
who are you talking to? Who are you asking? A
Yeah.
Drake fan is not going to look at a volume one the same way. And a J fan is not going to look at a Take Care or So Far Gone the same way. And it doesn't mean either or is less than or greater than. When you ask somebody, you have to understand where they come from, what was their trajectory, what was their perception of hip hop, what was their perception of that artist. You gotta understand that. Like I'm not expecting a nigga that loves Take Care to understand what the fuck Illmatic was, and vice
Mhm.
versa. But it doesn't mean neither one of them are great. They're great in their own right. They're great in their own era. They're great in their own environment. We gotta stop trying to like, yo, well, if you,
That's the diplomatic Apple answer.
yeah, I can sit here and tell you I like Volume One better than I like Nothing Was the Same, right?
Mhm.
I can
Right,
tell you that.
right,
I can tell you that I like Jeezy's, TM 101 than I like Carter too. But it's just like that's me. Like
right. And
we we
that's where we're getting at. We can rank them. I mean, it's not, unpolitically correct to rank them because it came from different eras because, the platform Apple,
but is it
like you said,
but is it fair?
well, I mean, Apple just put out a list of 100 albums that wasn't even the same genres from different eras. And I
But
mean,
but all right, that's every genre of music in 100, right? So that was their opinion. That was they made those choices, which I don't agree with a lot of them. All right, cool. Like that's just what it is. Like there's no law. If we're talking numbers, if we're talking metrics, if we're talking accolades, then we can have a solidified conversation. Nothing can be debated. Nothing can be, refuted. Nothing. None of that.
hmm,
You're talking to people that okay, yo, they had to drop. Everyone that voted had to drop 25 albums
Mhm.
of their favorites. They had to drop 25 albums, and then they win the pot. They figured it out, and based on storytelling and production and lyrical composition and all the other stuff, right? We are not law. You ain't law. You ain't law. I ain't law.
No doubt.
Right?
No
It's what
doubt.
I like. It's what I experience. It's what's impactful. It's what lasted long for me, for them, for
okay.
y'all.
So,
It's just that's what it is, and we have to stop saying, "Well, nah, take care of this and reasonable doubt that and ready to." We got to stop that.
Right.
so based on your preference, while we have you here, what are your top solo albums or who has the top solo discography for you and why?
Jay, Jay, to
Wait,
me, Jay and Michael Jackson.
okay, you want to expound on the J and his classics?
Reasonable doubt, Volume One, Blueprint, American Gangster, 444. Those are my picks. Those are my picks. Some might say Black Album. Some might say Volume Two. Some might say whatever the case is. Those are the ones that I connect to and I go back to every fucking day. Every day, I'm going back to one of those albums and just running straight through. Michael Jackson, Off the Wall, Thriller, Bad, boom, running straight through, straight through, straight through. Lauryn Hill, One, Miseducation, Lauryn Hill,
Okay.
boom. Nothing
All right.
like,
So you got your 3 to 5 top joints for Jay. So
yeah.
how would you compare that to a Nas's top 3 to 5 or Kendrick's top 3 to 5 or Ice Cube or Ghostface. That's kind of what we're getting at.
I mean, what am I looking at? What am I looking for? What am I comparing to? Because all the artists you just named are so fucking different.
Whatever
Ghost,
metric you want to go by.
if we're going by lyricism, club songs, production, Jay is top notch. But if we're going by like bars and this, that, and the third, Ghostface got that, Ice got that, Nas got that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it always just depends on who you're talking to, but I love them individually for different reasons. I think me personally, Jay is the more well-rounded artist out of all of them. But I do think Ghost can bar up Hove. I do think Nas can bar up Hove. But if when it comes down to it, Jay is going to give you a record. Nas is not really going to give you a record. Ghost is not going to give you a record. Jay is going to give you a record. You know what I'm saying?
Do you have reasonable doubt over Illmatic?
Yes.
Yeah.
To me. Don't.
Yeah. Disclaimer.
To me.
No, I get it. I get it.
Illmatic. Illmatic is a pillar. Illmatic is a pillar in hip hop.
I get it.
It's a pillar in music.
I get it.
For
I get
me.
it. I don't want.
If y'all said Illmatic over, I'm not gonna look at y'all funny. I'm like,
listen,
yo, all right, I get it.
Listen, I get it. Chat, don't go crazy on no, I get it. Listen, Coop and I had this conversation earlier today, and we were talking about, because Coop had made a comment to me. He was like, yo, I think Jay is a better lyricist than Big. And I asked him, I said, on what planet is he better than Big as being a lyricist? And we had a conversation about that. And we both came to the agreement that Jay is more easy to follow. So it's making him an easier listen for the fans, because Jay's taking your hand and walking you down. When he says, yo, Hov done that, so hopefully you have to go through that. He's telling you conversational Jay is top tier Jay. But when you listen to someone like Nas and you're talking about the intricacies of every line that he's writing, you have to go back and rewind, because you have to listen to what he's saying. You have to piece it together like a puzzle.
And not even that, not to cut you off.
Yeah,
he made that what? He made that what? 19?
Yeah. Because when Illmatic came out in 94,
that's insane. That's insane.
No, absolutely. That's what I'm saying. Like when Illmatic came out in 94, I was 14.
Yeah.
I didn't catch it. I'm be honest. And I'm Queens Get the Money all day. I'm Corona Queens Get the Money all day. When It Was Written came out, I caught it. I went back at the age of 16 to appreciate Illmatic and said, this is the greatest rapper of all time. Because now, because he was so intricate in his thought process at
so young,
15, 16, it made sense to me after that. But then I always felt that Blueprint to me was Jay's best album, because it's the most easiest listening album to me in hip hop. Because
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad.
You can follow it, right? You can follow it. You don't have to like bust your brain to follow Blueprint. I'm not saying it as a jab to Jay or anything like that.
Lyrically, that might be his like 5th or 6th best album lyrically, but it's the Sonics. It's the Sonics.
It's what he's saying a lot in Blueprint. At Blueprint, he's sticking his chest out. Pause. He's saying like, "Yo, I'm the one.
I'm that nigga.
I'm the one." Yeah. Blueprint is like, the bases are loaded because you got Reasonable Doubt, Volume 1, Volume 2, Dynasty. The bases are loaded. Blueprint is, I'm at the bat. I'm about to hit a home run, grand slam, bring everybody in. That what Blueprint represented to me back in 2001 at the age of 21. You know what I mean? That's why I always thought that Blueprint.
And then you look at the environment of where Blueprint, when it arrived, and what was going on just in the world.
Yeah.
Right. 9/11.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you're dealing with Nas. Right. Then you're introducing the world to a Just Blaze. You're introducing the world to a Kanye West. Bink. Timberland's on there. Pharrell's on there. Like, you're introducing the world to not us, because we know who these niggas are, but just it's so many factors in Blueprint that just makes it like, oh, how the fuck. And
it was a perfect storm.
You did 8 to 9 records in a weekend.
Yeah.
In a weekend. You did 8 to 9 of those records of your best album in 3 days.
Yeah.
That's nasty.
Yeah.
That's
No,
nasty.
not taking away from him. Not
No,
taking
no,
away.
but I get your point. How
Yeah.
easy and digestible it is to
It's
sit there with
digestible.
that. Yeah.
Right.
No, I
It's
get you.
digestible. Every song was calculated the way he wanted to calculate those songs, because again, you had the sonics. The sonics didn't overpower the music.
Yep.
The lyrics didn't overpower the sonics. At that time,
Everything married.
everything mattered.
There you go.
Because
There you go. Yeah.
2001 was a very good year for hip hop.
Blueprint was the perfect marriage.
Perfect marriage. Yeah, to my point with the lyrics, like you could say Reasonable Doubt's better. Of course, Reasonable Doubt's better lyrically. Volume 1 is. You could say American Gangster is. You could say the Black Album is, as far as his level of rapping. So that would put Blueprint lyrically at around his 5th best, just as far as spitting. But it was the marriage that you just said, Lo, that the marriage of the sonics and the rhymes that catapulted to that album to legendary status. And a lot of people, I think his fan base is pretty split. I don't think Reasonable Doubt is far and away his best album amongst Jay-Z's main fan base, who consider him the GOAT. I think it's about 50-50. Some consider Blueprint and some consider Reasonable Doubt.
When we have this conversation and we're talking about sonically, I can then say, like, yeah, I can understand why Blueprint is held at 1 or 2, because it sonically was married to the perfect precision. So I can understand.
I felt like Blueprint, he figured it out, because
Yeah.
Volume 3, in my opinion, Volume 3 was a miss.
It was a dud. It was a dud.
In real time, it was live.
I don't think it was a dud.
I won't call it dud.
Magna Carta Holy Grail to me was a dud.
That and Magna Carta and Kingdom Come.
I prefer Kingdom Come over Volume 3, but that might just be me.
Kingdom Come is bad.
No, I agree with you. Kingdom Come, I prefer Kingdom Come over Magna Carta.
I prefer
that. I think Magna Carta is his worst easily.
I prefer
to me, Magna Carta is his worst. And the fact that it's not bad compared to other artists, it's bad compared to him.
When you're great, you only comparing to yourself most of the time.
That's it.
No, Magna Carta is bad compared to everybody. It's just not good. Magna Carta is pretty bad.
Well, Magna Carta is better than a lot of niggas out.
Here's the thing about Magna Carta, though, is because it doesn't have any memorable hits from it. Because even when Jay-Z did a subpar album, the few times he's done that, we still had hits to take from it. You know what I mean?
Fuck with me. I got it with Ross. Tough.
I mean, it's tough, but it wasn't a hit by his standards.
And it was Ross
if we're gonna be very honest, Jay don't have a lot of hits.
He does.
Jay don't have a lot of hits. If we're
isolated,
Jay does not have a lot of hits.
I think that goes to the conversation of hit versus smash. Jay don't have a lot of smash hits, but he has a lot of hits. If that makes sense.
Jay has moments. Jay has moments when.
All right, Big Pimpin'. Big Pimpin's a hit. Give It To Me's a hit. The New York Empire State of Mind's a hit.
That's his only number 1 hit, also, but 3. Right.
Does it have to be number 1 to be classified as a hit?
No, it doesn't. But like, if we're talking hits, we're talking like when we talk about Jay's hits, we're talking about cultural.
Yeah, they're not like Drake level. They're not like Drake level hits. No,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
He got Hard Knock Life, and then that was a hit. And then he got what's another one we could throw in there? I hate the song, but 03 Bonnie and Clyde was a hit. It was a big hit.
Was it?
It was.
Was it? Was it?
It was a hit. Run This Town was a hit. That's another one. Blueprint 3 had a few of those on there.
No, he did. Not on Blueprint. No.
Not Blueprint 3.
No, he did.
It was a moment.
Blueprint 3 had Empire State of Mind.
That was his first number 1 hit after 13 years of releasing albums.
But I mean, number 1 doesn't determine if something's a hit or not. It don't have to be number 1 to be a hit.
Okay, well then Drake. But then Drake got what, 13 of them, right?
Yeah.
And a bunch of those records that are number 1 hits from Drake are ass.
Well,
Tootsie Slide,
like
Tootsie Slide,
for
really?
instance, Cole didn't
Tootsie
have a number
Slide.
one hit until First Person Shooter with Drake. But would you discount Love Yours and songs like that and say they're not hits?
See, I'm not discounting the quality of the record. I'm not discounting what the record did and like how I love the record or how we love the record. I'm not discounting none of that. I'm talking
Mm.
about that motherfuckers that don't love the Coles and the Drakes and
Right.
the Jays and how we love it. I'm saying, okay, the world, yeah, that.
To me, that's the difference between a smash and a hit. You know what I'm saying?
No,
That's
no, that's a cultural thing.
Right.
That's what
No,
that
I
is for
agree with
me.
that.
That's
I
a
agree with that.
cultural thing. Jay
mm.
got
You
Jay
mean
got
hits within the
culture.
culture versus all encompassing hit.
Right.
Yes,
Got you.
Most
Okay.
that's yeah,
Jay's hits are associated with something else.
Mhm.
yeah,
You
Yeah,
know what
that's
I'm
fair.
saying? Like
yeah.
he got smashes all over the place
Oh, still he got smashes out the ass.
at the ass.
That's
Right.
crazy, yo. That's what.
But
Hey,
but
pause.
pause. My
That's
fault. That's crazy.
wild.
It is wild.
That's wild.
He's,
That's wild. That's
he
wild.
got very animated when he said it too.
Yeah.
He got smashed. He was like shaking his head. I got smashes at the ass.
That,
Like,
that is wild, yo.
yo,
I was
yo,
like,
relax, bro.
I damn near thought I was gonna have to log off.
don't try to get don't try to catch me.
My bad, bro.
Pause,
You gotta get animated. You're like, you got smashed. You start shaking your head like this. I'm like, yo.
No, but you understand, like, to Drake's point, Drake got hits.
Mhm.
Hits.
Drake got hits.
Hits.
Boom,
He's
boom, boom, boom.
he's a hit
We can
factory.
point with that's he's hit factory.
He's a hit factory. Yeah.
Jay to me, and I'm the biggest. Y'all know I'm the biggest. Wasn't a hit factory.
No. Ja
Jay
Rule
Jay Ja
was a hit
Rule, yeah,
factory.
hit factory. But Jay was a consistent factory.
Yes. And that's a great point because now we're talking about consistency.
Yep.
Jay's consistency is what put him in those conversations. It's not necessarily
Jay's consistency is bar none.
bar none because he knew how to pick the right leadoff song. Jay's leadoff song and his ending song for an album carried over into the next album when he was dropping albums every year. If you think about everything that went from volume 1 to volume 2 to volume 3 to Dynasty, there was carryover. They carry over into each year. So it was looking like he was dropping nothing but hits or bangers year after year. Forget the album.
Yeah, like I mean, but the album still carried. The album still was what it was.
Well, that's the premise of his whole song. Every day a star is born. He's speaking to his consistency. He's talking about all the people that came and had flash in the pan, lightning, super hot careers, but they came and went. And he's speaking to his consistency through all these different eras of rap. So yeah, of course.
So with that said, Lo, do you feel that because Jay was able to ride a specific wave at the highest clip, that kept him not only that kept him relevant in that particular era, but it also allowed him to transcend through the times when hip hop was going through different changes?
Jay learned how to adapt.
Yeah.
Jay learned how to involve himself, which I think Drake is very good at.
They're chameleons, both of them. They're chameleons.
Yeah, that right. You took the words right out of my mouth. That's
so
it. Jay knew what producers, what artists, songwriters, this, that, and the third. Jay just knew, like forward thinking, like the thing I think that are synonymous with Jay and Drake. They know, okay, I see this coming. All right, I see that coming. All right, let me get next to, let me adapt with, or let me stay the fuck out the way because that ain't my bag.
Perfect. That's a perfect way of saying it. So let me ask you this. If we're saying that Jay and Drake does it at a high clip, why do we laud Kendrick so much when him and Nas, they have a similar way of approaching the business as well? Because they're the dichotomy to what Jay and Drake does, right? But we are bashing Drake at this point. Everybody's against Drake at this point. Everyone, even his old fan. I think his mother's against him right now. I think she was playing out like us too at the house and he rolled up on her. But if you think about everything that Jay was doing during the current of hip hop, the Rough Riders era, the Murder Inc. era, all of those things, he was riding that wave. Whereas Nas went pretty much left. He went left field. Nostradamus was left field. Even I Am was left field. The concept of I Am was totally left field from what was going on in 98 and 98.
Nas and Kendrick are very similar because they move to the beat of their own drum, no matter.
Indeed.
Kendrick could be a Drake if he wanted to. Nas could have been a Hove if he wanted to. That's just not their. That's not their repertoire. That's
They're
not
artists.
their palette. That's not
they're
their. But you need that.
You need that balance.
You need the Nas. You need the Kendrick.
Yeah.
But then you need the Jay and you need the Drake.
Yeah.
But let's not get it twisted though.
But the beautiful thing about both of all four of them that we're comparing, they can do both.
Everything.
Both of them can do everything. They choose. I'm over here. I'm good. I'm chilling. I'm good over here. I'm good. But I can come over there and fuck your shit up too.
Right.
To a degree.
And they all proven that.
And this is the thing.
The perfect example is Kendrick saying, "Oh yeah, I can come over there and fuck your shit up." What he just did.
Yeah, he made a hit record, a banger that would be in Drake's wheelhouse. You know, now that's the hottest song in the country. But let's not get it twisted though. You know, Kendrick is a mega star. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not, his star is not as bright as a Drake per se, but he's a star. And then, you know, same thing with Nas. People act like Nas was like an underground rapper at one point, but like Nas from his second album,
I can make them hits, boy. Like let's not get it twisted. Nas can make them hits.
Nas in his day was a major superstar. A lot of fans don't know. Nas sold over 20 million records in the US and over 35 million records worldwide. Nas is a superstar.
He's an anomaly. He's an anomaly.
What he say? I'm underground and overground has never been seen. You know,
he's an anomaly.
He didn't care.
Yeah, he didn't. Right, because he technically came under the Rakim Coogee rap cloth. Right.
Right.
As much as we laud and we support and we represent Rakim was never a mega star.
No.
Or superstar. And that's especially speaking. I'm talking about through the ages. I'm talking about
no. But that's where the comparison comes in with Jay and Nas. Big Daddy Kane was that nigga, that guy.
Right.
But then here comes Rakim. Rakim is like, nah, nigga, I'm out the mud, whatever.
Yeah.
That's what Nas was.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So like, but you need both. You need the balance. You need to understand like, okay, I'm gonna sit over there with Big Daddy Kane, and I'm gonna just then I'm gonna sit over here with Rakim. Okay, then I'm gonna sit over here with Jay, or I'm gonna sit over here with Nas, I'm gonna sit over here with Drake, I'm gonna sit over here with Kendrick. That's what this is about.
Right. It's a different of approach, like Sean was saying, when Jay's looking for the next wave to kind of, to lengthen his career so I can ride this wave so I can keep being relevant throughout the years. Whereas Nas, his approach is, y'all want me to zig, but I'm a zag because I'm going to stand on my artistic, capabilities.
And nothing is wrong with that, bro.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I know Steve Stout has said, I would try to get Nas, Sprite deals and brand deals and this, that, and the third. And I was like, I ain't doing that. But here comes Jay with the Armadale and the Reebok and the fucking, the Rockaware, this, that, and the third. Jay was a little bit more business minded, which is not a problem because, Jay understood what this was and what that was. Nas is now showing us what it is later on in his career. The bevel shit, the I think the crypto shit. Like now we're seeing not like the tech shit. Nas is now we're like, oh shit, we didn't even.
Yeah, nobody thought he had that in his bag.
But and then coming back and dropping 3 albums, or I'm sorry, 6 albums in what 3 years?
3 years,
yeah.
So don't forget I do this.
Yeah.
Yes. Because he's an artist.
I do this.
Yeah, and shout out to somebody in the chat. He mentioned that LL was a superstar during the Kane and Rakim era. LL was the major superstar of all those rappers. So yes, that would be correct.
Rod didn't want that. Rod wasn't the marketable guy because the marketable guy had to have that smile. He had to have that charisma. He had to have that approachability. Rob was not
And
the
and
approachable
and
guy.
L had that. L
LL
was
had that. He captured
I'm
all of
bad. I'm bad. I got
it.
my
I
shirt
need
off. I'm
love.
flexing. I need
Yeah,
love. Then
yeah,
you're breeding the Ja Rules. You're breeding the Nellies. You're
yes,
breeding the
yes,
Drakes. You're
That's a fact.
breeding these
yes.
niggas. Like you birthed these niggas.
I'm glad you're giving them
But
that credit because many people don't do that, and they should.
They
nigga,
don't.
what?
He should be
You
discussed
don't
more.
you don't you don't you don't get none of these niggas without what LL was
No,
doing.
he's
That's a
their
fact.
forefather. He's their forefather. He's the one. He's one of the
Without
trees. Yeah, he's
without
one of the
question.
trees. He's not a
Without
branch. He's a
question.
tree.
And the nigga can rap his fucking ass.
And he will eat you up if you're not careful on a group
Body
joint.
body
Yeah.
bag.
If
Yep.
you're not careful, he will get you.
Body
So
bag.
Lo, does that change the perspective of how we are viewing Kendrick at this point? Because we just made a lot of great points on both Jay, Nas, and their trajectory when they came up. Does that change everything for Kendrick? Because now the question at this point, based on what everyone is saying, they're trying to put Kendrick in that top 3, maybe top 5 of the pantheon of rappers. Where will Lo place Kendrick today? Where will you place Kendrick today?
I'm putting him. This is surprise. This is gonna start my week off or end my week, whatever. I don't give a fuck. Like I'm just punching back. Um, Kendrick is placing himself in a very, very high ranking positioning of what hip hop, lyricism, competition, bodies of work is what we want to see from our forefathers, right? Like Kendrick is going to be a forefather moving forward. The bodies of work, the representation, the risks, the revealing of experiences, the making of hits, the going toe to toe with the guy who we all know is Drake. That's what you're supposed to fucking do.
Okay.
And you can fucking rap, and you can make a hit record, and you can make a classic album, and the world can recognize it, and other genres know who you are, and other genres respect you. You are becoming, if not already, that guy. Say Drake is not that guy because he is,
Mm-hmm.
but Kendrick is becoming that guy, if not that guy, in front of our very eyes. You can
Mm.
disagree, you can, but to have a number 7 album, and I get it, it's subjective, whatever the case is, to cut through that noise for your first official album to be ranked number 7 as top 100 album of all time,
Mm-hmm.
there's something to be said about who that man is as an artist, not just a rapper,
Right.
as an artist. And I can't dispute, and this is just me speaking from my experience, from my, you know, just him,
Mm-hmm.
me, and watching, listening, observing him. That's just me. He has proven, and he's going to continue to prove that. Yeah, I am that nigga, and I'm not even. I'm far from done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm far from done. There's the greats. There's the Snoops that acknowledge you. There's the Jays that acknowledge you. There's the Cubes that acknowledge you. There's the Hoves that acknowledge you. What's up, G? They are the guys that we look and love and respect that
No
acknowledge
doubt.
you and say, yeah, yeah, yeah.
But where do you personally place him currently in real time?
Probably about 5 or 6.
Oh shit. Let me get the super chat real quick. Mad
5 or
Max
6.
Mad Max said, Dot not even top 30. Stop it. Jizza has Dot. You got him top 5 or 6?
That's cool. Listen, I ain't mad at that. Don't,
Hey,
my opinion ain't off.
that's your opinion. That's your opinion.
My opinion
I,
ain't
I
law.
got him. I
I
got
ain't
him
mad at
at
that.
my number 10 spot in my top 10 after this.
Okay. All right.
Damn.
And it is probably gonna climb.
I
As the years grow, it's probably gonna climb.
It has potential. It has potential.
I got it. I
That's
got my 15 mark.
that's my entire point right there. Yeah. Say it again. You say it. It's
It
probably
has
gonna climb.
potential because his career is not done.
Thank you. That's it. That's it. Because if it wasn't this detrimental, we wouldn't blink twice. This nigga, him.
Well, I think the difference is now he's entered into this rare space where he's hip hop's the culture's representative or mascot, because a lot of people felt like Drake is the antithesis of that,
Mhm.
and he kind of crept into Drake's, you know what I'm saying, fan base and wheelhouse with the hits. So he's occupying two
So I
different
didn't. So
spaces.
I didn't gave you a therapy album. Then I came back and gave you a number one fucking smash hit. So you telling me, all right? So you telling me I ain't that nigga? You
Yeah,
telling
he's
me I ain't?
he's
You telling me
occupying the
I
rare
ain't?
space right now.
I don't
You
know,
telling me
fellas.
I ain't that
I
nigga?
don't know.
You telling me I ain't
Where
that nigga?
where do you got him on your list, Sean? Because I
Let
know
me
we've
get
had
Mad
this
Max real
talk
quick.
behind the scenes.
Mad Max says Dot is the new Eminem 15 years from now. Watch. I don't disagree with that. I don't have him in the top five for certain. Not even close. I don't even know if I can put Dot in top 10 personally. Personally. Um, I think that at the end of his run, maybe he can crack that top 10. I got him
Mhm.
close to the 15th mark because I feel like we've seen this before. We said this when Wayne was on his run. We said Wayne was top three, dead or alive. Some people even called Wayne the GOAT at one point. We saw Wayne had a magnificent run.
I
He
was
had
none of those people.
he had a massive album. When he had the whole what was the album? I think it was the Carter Volume Two, Part Two, or something like that, or part. I'm sorry, three.
Part
The
of
Carter.
three was the biggest album. Yeah.
He was out
Carter
of
is the
here.
biggest album.
He was
Humongous.
out of here, and we were saying Wayne is the GOAT. And now we're not saying that too much more. You know what I'm saying? We don't hear Wayne name that many more times since he started releasing after that.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Has Kendrick called himself the greatest of all time ever?
Yes.
Has Kendrick called him?
Yes. Yeah,
No,
yes.
no.
Has he?
When? Has he?
Yes, he has.
Because Ti called himself the king of the South. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Jay called himself the best rapper alive. Jay has said
Mhm.
that plenty of times. Um, who else? Ross called himself the biggest boss or whatever the case is. Kendrick has never, to me, from what I'm hearing,
I mean,
Kendrick
you
has
got to read
never
between the
gave.
lines. We put out
No,
a hip
no, no,
hop
no, no,
bar
no, 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 no,
seminar.
no,
His
no,
second verse
no,
from Phil,
no.
and he's
What he
basic.
said?
You got to read
What he
between
said?
the lines. He was like,
No, no,
uh,
I'm not. No, no, no. Fuck all that. I'm not. This is not.
hey,
This,
I
we're
mean,
not.
he
I'm not
says
saying.
it. He says he's
This,
feel like
no,
we ain't debating who the best is. It's me.
this not blue. This is not Blue's Clues. This is not. You know, we're not doing that. Every nigga that we consider the great of Wayne, you know, Tip has said it about himself. Jay has said it about himself. They have said it to us. I'm the best, as you're supposed to.
Right.
Drake has said it plenty of times, as
Yeah.
you're supposed to.
Yes.
Kendrick has never outright said, I'm the greatest of all time.
Neither has
And we
Nas.
and
Yeah. He said it. He
Oh,
said
and
it.
on Magic. Magic was the first time he said that. If I'm not the GOAT, that's just silly behavior. That's the first time
okay,
I've heard him
okay.
say that.
He said on One
To
Life,
my
One
to
Love.
my to my
Yeah.
recollection, Kendrick has never outright said, I'm the greatest of all time. And the fact that we're having this conversation of where is he in the list of GOAT rappers or best rappers, that lets me know, yeah, he's one of them.
Well, we got an interesting range because I got him in top 10. Low, you got him in top 5, and Sean says top 15 is more appropriate. So it's an interesting range. It's kind of it varies, you know. But for me personally, I'm glad you brought up Wayne because prior to this battle, him and Wayne were just outside of my top 10 at 11 and 12, and they always kind of switch rankings depending on my mood. But after this battle, you know, Kendrick moved into the top 10 and Wayne is at number 11. So
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Wayne's a little bit lower or higher than that.
Yeah, you gotta.
in your top 10?
Yeah, Wayne's higher than that. Like he's about six, 6 or 7.
Well, if you want to know like the person who got kicked out of my top 10, I had to kick Andre 3000 out because he just don't have any solo material to be put with the other guys.
I agree with that.
So Kendrick moved in,
Doesn't take away from his ability to rap.
right,
Doesn't
right.
take away
He's a top
ability.
3 in ability,
Yeah, the ability, contribution, skill set, all that. He's there.
But that's
I can't necessarily judge you if you
Yeah.
need a solo body.
Yeah.
no doubt, no doubt.
That's just me.
Right.
No. But that's one of the reasons why I don't like to do the whole top thing or whatever. I like to break it down in tierings. Because if you look at the pyramid, the pyramid is there for a reason. When you think about those who are in that top echelon,
Right.
you got that top, you got the top tier, the God tier. Then you got the top tier. Then you
you got the gods, then you got the princes.
Right.
You got that, then it drops below.
There should be like a member associated with them. This should be just here's the grouping, and this is what that grouping should look like. You know what I mean? Like
gods are Nas, gods are Hov, gods are Big, gods are Rakim, gods are Daddy Kane, princes are Wayne, princes are Ray.
Yes.
Princes are like those like
right.
And like that those rankings change.
Right. Because I can live with that. Because it's again, hip hop is so subjective. You cannot find 3 to 4 people to agree on
it'll never we will never I will tell you this right now, we will never all of us agree.
We cannot.
No. But the good thing about this conversation, it's all subjective, but I think that was kind of the premise of what we were getting at with looking at the discographies and stuff, because we're, like you was talking about, Sean, with the different tierings, and this might be biased, but forget Nas's top 3 albums. Nas is in God tier, but I would take Nas's second grouping of best 3 albums and put him over Wayne's top 3 albums. Or, some people who's in the next level tier.
I would too. Let me get a super chat real quick because I want to hear Lo respond to that. I agree with AG on that. Let me get the super chat. Mad Max said, hold on. Mad Max said he's not one of them. He media like hype like Eminem. Mad Max also stated Lil Wayne is not top 10. Peter Park stated Kendrick is about the 10 to 15 range. I agree with that, Peter Park. And Mad Max said, "Not classics. People say have no replay value." It's a very interesting take. So, Lo, react to that, man. That's a good one. That's a good one, AG.
And let me give some clarity to that. I'm meaning Lost Tapes, KD3, or if you want to take that out of the equation because of recency bias, KD3 and Magic. Let's just say those are off the table. You give me Lost Tapes, Godson, and Life is Good, that's in Nas's, like 4th, 5th, and 6th, 7th best albums. But I still think they're better than, somebody in the Wayne tierings top 3.
Yeah.
When you talk about replay value, are we talking about club replay value? Are you talking about in front of your girl replay value?
That's semantics. Just what's the better albums, Lo?
I mean, to me, I'm gonna have my picks. Like, that's what I like. That's my replay value. That's what I'm gonna play.
Okay, what do you think are Wayne's top 3 albums?
Oh, top 3, I would say, top 3 is Carter 1, 2, 3.
Okay, are you taking Carter 1, 2, and 3 over Lost Tapes, Godson, and Life is Good?
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely not.
I disagree.
But that's again. That's
the whole point.
It's
the whole point of this. It's discourse.
Yeah,
it's discourse.
Look, let me find out.
Take that New York hat off, Lo.
I think Lo moved to Jersey.
If I took my New York, if I was doing this whole New York shit, I'd have been like, yeah.
I know. I'm just messing with you, bro.
Lo moved to Jersey when he was like 35. That's it. Lo moved to Jersey. Lo was born in Atlanta, grew up in Florida.
I was born in fucking Jersey, man. My father's from Queens. My father's from Northern Boulevard. Like, Anybody recognize that?
Yo,
Yeah, like
man.
it's not
Your
from the
father's still
old
here with
Shea
us, right?
Stadium. The
Your father's
old
still here with us?
Yeah. I
Yo,
looked
man.
before I got on the phone with y'all. This nigga called me. He's like, "Why you ain't call me? Like, what you doing?" I'm like, "Nigga, nigga, like my father from Northern Boulevard. If anybody know
Yes, your
from
father's
Queens,
in
and
Queens.
yeah,
He's
the
in
old Shea
Queens.
Stadium. My father's apartment was right across the street from the old Shea Stadium. So
Yes.
all that New York bias
Queens, Queens.
bullshit, like knock it off.
Yeah. That's what me and LP from. That's what me and Eppins are from. We from that
All
area.
right then. So yeah, so you know what it is.
Yeah, did he move? Did he send you down to Atlanta for boarding school or something like that when you was like
No,
10?
I went to DC for fucking Howard University.
I'm
That's where I wanted to
kidding.
fucking. Stop fucking with me right now, my
I'm
nigga.
kidding. Because you talking crazy. You got look. You got
Nah,
you as
nah,
your
these
Yo,
niggas fuck.
Sean got sent out the states too. He got sent out of the state too. He like Fresh Prince.
Niggas fucking with me. Like my mom's wanting me to stay in Jersey. I'm like, nigga, I want to go to DC. I want to go to Baltimore. Like, fuck
yeah,
out of here. I want to see what this
go-go
shit is.
music out there. Yeah, yeah,
And that's why I love Wayne so much. And when I was at Howard, like niggas put me on UK and you know, Pimp C and fucking Three
yeah.
Six Mafia and you know what I mean? Like I love Southern music. I love these.
You do
Love
because
them.
you a huge Jeezy fan.
Jeezy. What?
Jeezy. Yeah,
What? Yeah. So
yeah,
like ain't no New
Yo,
York
I
bias.
had Station Head smoke for you, Lo. I ain't gonna lie.
yeah. He had a fully loaded clip for you too, bro. Like
For
yo,
You think
he
you
would
think
not
I ain't
stop
ready?
talking about it.
I did.
You think I ain't ready?
Because you was talking about the Thug Motivation 101, and then you said Jada ain't have no classics. But I don't know if you remember, I told you that Kiss the Game Goodbye was Smoke, Thug Motivation, and a
Yeah.
verses on Station Head.
Yeah.
Smoking
Yeah.
food,
Yeah. Yeah.
We got
Yeah.
to do
smoke,
that. Let's set that
Yeah,
up.
we can do that, nigga.
Let's set that up.
I'll wash you.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
food,
Just Jada's debut against G, I will watch,
100%.
nigga.
yeah, the smoke,
100%.
I'm
Let's
dead
do it.
and shit. I'm dead. Set it
I'm
up.
excited.
Whatever day.
We'll set that up. We'll set that up for real.
no doubt.
I'm ready.
Yo,
I've been
low
waiting
man.
on that for months.
Let's get it.
Yo,
Let's get it.
he would not stop talking about it.
I was like Kendrick, you know what I'm saying, waiting just to
Nigga,
jump out the window.
let's put some money up. I'll put
Yo, he would
50.
not stop
Let's
talking about it. He
go.
be like, yo, I got smoke for low. I said, yo, fam, you told me
He
that like
don't
10
got, he
days
don't
ago.
got, nigga, he don't got nothing for me. I created the cheat sheet. He don't got nothing for me.
He
All
wouldn't
right,
stop,
you
bro.
say that.
I,
He don't know about Kiss the Game Goodbye. He don't know about Show
you know,
Destiny. You ain't showing discipline right now, Lo.
nigga, listen, I'm from the bottom of the map, nigga.
And
Fuck you talking about?
this is
I
off.
go, I go, I go crazy, nigga.
Listen. This is off topic, but I'm
Yeah,
glad this got brought up. You know, it goes back to the point. You know, we was talking about hits and smash hits. Like all hits are not created equal. Like Jay-Z's
right.
hits doesn't look like 50 Cent's hits or Drake's hits or
Nah,
whatever.
yeah,
Just like
yeah.
all classics ain't created equal. And
Mm-mm.
you know, when you were on the station head and we were talking about that before with the Jeezy thing, I do agree with your statement that Jeezy's album is a classic. Thug Motivation 1 is no question a classic. I do
Mm-hmm.
agree that Kiss the Game Goodbye is not a classic. It's close,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not quite. But the
Mm-hmm.
fact of the matter remains is I think they're being measured by two different bars. Jada's
Mm-hmm.
anticipation for what his album was supposed to be and live up to as a barsmith, as a wordsmith, as one of the
Mm-hmm.
best, you know, the rap game had seen up until that point, was a
Ever.
different bar set for him than Jeezy, you know, coming out of the South. It
Because
wasn't really
there was no bar set. There was no expectation. There was
right, right.
no. I'm
So
like, we're not thinking. We're not. We're
right.
looking at
It
Jada.
was no real
Who's
expectation. So my
right.
point being is with Jada's first album, it's not like the quality necessarily isn't there. It's just that the
Mm-hmm.
bar was set for him high to a point where he couldn't reach
So
it or
high
obtain it. And
because you
Jeezy
look
gets the
at
benefit of getting a classic, you know, renowned classic, because that
because
came and smacked us in the face. We wasn't expecting nothing from
we were like what
right,
the
right.
fuck,
Oh,
right?
So my thing is we just gotta be fair in our judgment. That doesn't, because Jeezy has a classic and then the Jadakiss album doesn't mean that the Jeezy album is necessarily better, is what I'm saying.
it's a regional classic.
All around when you look at Jeezy's album, that debut album, all around, it is better presented, better produced, better representing a sound.
What'd you say it was better lyrically? That's crazy. Y'all,
No, I didn't.
yo,
I didn't
yo,
say
Apple,
didn't
y'all
say
got to
that.
get this guy.
that.
No, he didn't say that. He didn't say that. Please.
I didn't
Please.
say. I didn't say that.
He didn't say that. Yeah, I
I
was
said
like,
better. I
I'm
said
going
better
to
produced.
edit that.
I
I
said
edit that on
better
the
We
spot.
can edit that out. It's fine.
I
Edit
didn't
that
say that.
out.
Your
I said
headline
that.
tomorrow's gonna be.
I didn't
Low-
say that. I didn't say
Yo,
that.
and he would get
I
it.
said.
He would
I
get,
said.
he would get the
Yeah,
message.
like
I
don't.
posted on Twitter after this. I posted on.
Let me just before I continue my point and before I get the fuck out of here. I didn't say it was better lyrically. I said it was better produced. I
Yeah.
said it was better presented. I said it was better represented for a region in hip hop.
Yes.
That was
Mhm.
Yes.
on the uprising of what hip hop is transitioning.
Right.
Jeezy was a part of that. Jeezy was in the middle of that. Jada will always be held as one of the best lyricists we've ever seen. Let's make
Hands
that
down.
very fucking clear.
No doubt.
Jeezy had a better package. We
That's the
expected.
second crazy one today. That's Paul.
Stop.
Damn.
We had a higher expectation for Jada because of
Yeah.
when he was around. The Locks, one of the best hip
Right.
hop groups of all time.
Right. Right.
Jada is standing next to Ben. Jada is going bar for bar with Hov. Right? Like
Yeah.
that. We're looking at him like, oh shit,
Right.
this man is about to be. And then here comes Jeezy, smacks us dead in the face.
And Jeezy came at a time when hip hop was also transitioning, and he was part of that.
But that's my point.
Yeah,
That's my point.
he was part of that.
That South uprising
Yes,
was not led by him, but he was a part of
he
the
played
leader.
a big part of that. Yeah,
Played a big part.
big
So
part.
it's like,
He was a movement. He was a
yeah.
movement.
So
Yeah.
So we're looking at Jeezy like, I'm like, what the fuck is
Yeah,
this shit?
yeah,
So it's like, yeah, my nigga, that nigga over there is about to shake the fucking world up. Black tees, white snowman.
Snowman shirt. Yeah,
Christmas ain't it ain't what it used to be.
it's different. It's
But we
different.
still gonna do that station head battle. We're gonna set that up. We ain't been on station head in a minute. We got to make an appearance back over there again.
Gotta let it go, man.
I mean, it's respectfully, I'm gonna knock your ass out.
What'd you say? You gonna put your Apple contract on the line? Okay, let's do it. That's crazy.
You
I'm
can't
gonna
lose.
knock your ass out. I'm
If
gonna
you
knock
lose,
your ass.
Jeezy gonna be
And
giving you
don't you edit these clips to make me seem like I'm crazy? I swear
Yo,
to fucking God, I'm gonna come
tell
get you.
Ebro I'll be pulling up to the show because
put my foot up on the table.
your contract gonna be null and void. I'm your
Yeah.
new replacement, Lo. Just so you know, you gonna put your Apple contract on the line.
Wearing dirty
If I get fired for this shit, I'm gonna fuck you. Nah, but it's always a pleasure talking to y'all niggas, man.
No doubt, bro.
No doubt.
I get back to
Yeah,
my
we
people,
appreciate you,
whatever.
bro.
But yeah, it's love, man.
Peace,
Always
man.
fucking show. I'll
Peace,
see
man.
y'all soon. I'm
Yes,
gonna
sir.
bust your ass in that verses.
Yo, let me get this quick super chat. Yo, Matt Max said, talk to me when Dot makes you lose yourself. Matt Max also stated, Jada smoking Jeezy D Block. Act like you know. Yeah, look, man. I think we all know that Jada will smoke Jeezy. I don't think that's a question. They're talking about battling with Jeezy's first album and Jada's first album. But I do agree with
Not track this order.
No, not track.
That's key.
No, that's
Shout out to Trey.
Yeah, shout out to Trey Boogie. And those of you who just popping in, your Coop and I did a show earlier today. We're going to release it tomorrow. But Coop actually had a scheduling conflict tonight as well. But he's coming back. You know, Coop, we didn't kick Coop out the group. So I want nobody to start thinking anything crazy. You don't sign an artist like Coop. You can only partner with Coop.
I'm gonna have a new group though, because I'm gonna take Low Spider. You won't see him on the couch at Rap Life next to Nadeska. That's where y'all about to see me next.
That'd be crazy. That'd be the first time West Virginia got that close to hip hop like that. That'd be huge for West Virginia, bro. Like real talk, that'd be crazy for West Virginia. I'm rooting for you.
I appreciate it.
I'm rooting for you. I want to see West Virginia win.
I appreciate it.
But now, real talk though, I do think that that because of Jada's the entire landscape for Jada was set out for him to be the next one up, because he was killing everything on the mixtape scene. He was killing every feature. His pen game was crazy on No Way Out. So he had everything lined up for him to be the next one before Kiss the Game Goodbye came out. Personally, I thought that Kiss the Game Goodbye was, I can't, as much as I love Jada and love that album, I can't say it's a classic. I can say that to me, if it's 4.5 mic album out of 5.
I agree. It's a 4.5. It just missed the mark. And my personal critique of it, and it's funny that we ended up here because this wasn't on, the itinerary. But for me personally, I think he tried to please too many different demographics on the album, and it kind of lost a little bit of focus along the way. You know what I mean? So, we got a West Coast joint, a down South joint, club joint for the ladies, group joint, street joint, radio banger. Like, you know what I mean? It's, it comes off as, a little formulaic, but, I still love that album. Great album.
Absolutely. Because 2001 was a crazy year. Remember, that's when you all been wearing like the rhinestone bandanas in 2001. And the velour. Remember, we had velour. We was rocking velour. Sean John, like, can I even say that? Can I say Sean John?
No, you can't. Okay. We'll edit that part out too.
We edit that out. But we was rocking some velour suits with the bandanas.
Rocking wearing velours, all that. Yeah. The rhinestone bandanas was a nasty time, bro.
Rhinestone bandanas was a nasty time.
You remember the FUBU jerseys?
Like, I hate the FUBU jerseys. Yes.
The 05 joint, they had the city. They had the city on the front. My kid's mother, I remember. I was like, I think LL had a joint in the video with the rhinestones to match the bandana. And I was like, yo, need one of them joints. Couldn't find it nowhere. So, you know what I'm saying? Went to a craft store, got the cubic zirconias, and she hit that joint up for you, boy. You know what I
mean? That's nasty. I wouldn't.
Man. It was a crazy time, man. It was a lot of nasty work going around.
I'm going to put that on repeat because what you just said is crazy. I'm going to loop that. That's going to be a loop joint tomorrow morning.
It was a wild time. You know what I'm saying? We had to make do.
Yeah, I guess.
Some things didn't make it here to West Virginia.
I'm not judging you at all. I didn't do it. I didn't wear rhinestone bandanas and all of that. I had the velour. I'm not going front. I had every color of velour.
No, I had the orange Stillmatic joint. You know what I'm saying? I had the baby blue, red.
Baby blue, I had the baby blue Timbs. I had like every color Tim like that.
I got clowned so hard for them baby blue Timbs. I had the UNC Timbs. Like nobody had never seen them before, and they act like I was a clown. You know what I'm saying? When I was in college.
You can't, because you went to college in North Carolina, right?
Nah, in West Virginia. I went to Marshall. You see the flag?
I forgot they had a college in West Virginia. Yeah.
Yo, that's crazy. That's crazy.
That came out the wrong way.
You ain't go to college in New York. Well, you got kicked out like Fresh Prince.
Yo, man. I told you that ain't private, man. Like, what are you doing?
You keep blowing up West Virginia spot.
Yo, bandana AG with the blue Timbs is crazy.
Yo, bandana AG is crazy.
Bandana.
Yo, I had all them joints. The beef and broccolis. Yo, I had all them joints for real.
Yeah.
Yo, but wearing Timbs with the velour though, that was crazy.
I know, and I had it too. I'm not gonna front. I was
crazy times. Timbs with a velour on was nasty work, but I did it.
And I had like I had like a towel. I would like wrap a towel on my wrist or wrap a towel on my neck or something weird. It was 2001 was weird, yo. It was weird. Yo, Ill Magic says T.I. discography is top 10 on my list. I don't know if I can put.
T.I. got some joints, man.
He has a strong discography. I can't front.
Yo, let's get into that real quick, Sean, because T.I., I think he gets pushed to the wayside because of his character, right? And I don't think people, hold him up as high in the ranks as they should. And we was talking a little bit about behind the scenes about, how people are judged differently. It's selective in, our outrage, what we want to point out as, we ain't down with that, or you know what I'm saying? So you want to speak to that a little bit?
I think T.I., again, in real time, T.I. was really killing it. Like they were calling T.I. the Jay-Z of the South at one point.
They were.
You know what I mean? He had Rubber Madman that came out, when he had, I think Paper Trail was the one that got him out of here. If the Carter 3 was Wayne's out of here moment, to me, Paper Trail was T.I.'s out of here.
I think it would, for me, it would be King. I think King would be it.
Here's why I said Paper Trail, because Paper Trail checked all the boxes globally. It wasn't regional. He wasn't regional no more after Paper Trail, in my opinion, because you had the joint with Rihanna. That was a nice crossover. You had the joint Swagger Like Us was on there. And I can appreciate anyone that feels King. Just like I know people from New Orleans. I'm down there a lot. People from New Orleans tell me that Volume 2, the Carter 2 is Wayne's best. You know what I mean? But I'm talking about more, not regional. I'm talking about more global aspect, where someone like myself, who wasn't big on the Southern artists at that time, I found myself vibing to Paper Trail, right? Because Paper Trail was one of those albums that just, to me, it checked a lot of boxes. And soundscape wise, the beats was great on Paper Trail. T.I. was in a different pocket. It's very similar to Carter 3. The Carter 3,
it is.
Wayne, that doesn't sound like a New Orleans album. The Volume 3, it doesn't sound like a New Orleans album.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah. More global. And then on Paper Trails, where T.I. had the Whatever You Like, right? Because a lot of people compared that to Lollipop.
Yeah. I think the Paper Trail, I think that wasn't that King, Whatever You Like?
I don't remember. I thought it was Paper Trail, but I could be wrong.
I think it was King, because
somebody in the chat fact check that one.
King did, like Michael Brown said, I agree. King made him a superstar. I'm not gonna lie. King did make him a star. Paper Trail made him a superstar, because King was the setup, in my opinion, to Paper Trail. Again, that's me being someone from the outside of that region, knowing what that album did during my travels during that time. I was everywhere I was overseas at that time. I was in different states, and Paper Trail was everywhere during that time. And it was a moment to me in hip hop. Paper Trail was. So again, if someone says King, I get it, because I think that was during the time when that movie came out too. He had that Corny movie.
The one where they were skating. Yeah. ATL. Yeah. King was around that time. And then what you know about that is arguably his biggest hit, I would think.
I thought so too. Yeah. What you know about that was a major.
Somebody in the chat said Whatever You Like is on King. Yeah. Those 3 albums came out pretty quick. King, T.I. versus T.I.P., and then Paper Trail. They were out all pretty quick, so I mixed those up.
Yeah. Because they were back to back. They were consecutive. Because again, he was really running things at that time, because he had the battle. He beat Lil Flip, and at that time, Lil Flip was one of the ones at that time. He was coming up.
And Luda was going back and forth too. A lot of people argue who won that one.
Him and Luda went back and forth. He said he was the king of the South. He got some cosigns for some heavy hitters at that time too.
Yeah. So
it was one of those things where he was carrying the torch for a minute. And I say that to say, and we talked about this before, and I know Coop and I talked about this earlier. We got to be careful, because we got to still see how things play out, right? Because even with Kendrick, at one point we did say Wayne was a GOAT. Not me, but
not me.
The people were saying at that time, a lot of people were saying he was the GOAT. A lot of people were saying T.I. was the GOAT. Everyone goes through that phase because they're the hottest thing going on. Kendrick, I don't think he's the hottest thing going on. I think he's having a hot moment. There's a difference, because his hot moment, or his signature moment, if you will, is the Drake battle. This is the battle that we were waiting for years between him and Drake. Kendrick is not new in the game.
Right.
He's like what, 15 years deep now, 10 years deep, something like that, 12 years deep, something like that. So he's not new in the game. This is just a signature moment for his legacy.
Right.
That doesn't mean that he's now the GOAT because he's having a signature moment. Because if that's the case, how many signature moments Son had? Son had signature moments since inception.
Still having signature
Still
moments.
having signature moments.
Mm-hmm.
You dig what I'm saying? So if I see Jordan Davis said he was in the Kendrick was in the GOAT convo since 2012. That's crazy. And
not if
look,
not if you're being objective.
Yeah, and Ted, I get what you're saying. Good Kid, Mad City was a signature moment, absolutely. But I'm talking about right now, today. This is another signature moment for him because he's taken down arguably the biggest artist, rap artist, if you will, in hip hop right now. This is a big, to me, and just in my opinion, this is a bigger signature moment than Good Kid, Mad City, because we know what Good Kid, Mad City is. We know it's a phenomenal album, but this is a moment where he dethroned an artist at the magnitude of Drake.
But here's where I have a problem. Here's where I have a problem with that. I agree with you and agree with you at the same time, Sean. Mm-hmm. Going to the transition into the whole Drake conversation and the battle with Kendrick. A lot of people are saying this is the best battle of all time. You know what I mean? And I can't give it that on the rap side of things, because a lot of people, let's be real, they act like Drake shouldn't even be in the ring with Kendrick. I still hold Jay-Z and Nas as the pinnacle of a rap battle. No, it wasn't what we get now, like, all these tracks released within 1 week. We got like 5 or 6 tracks between the two of them in a week's time frame. So the frantic pace of it lends to the excitement, and then it's on a more worldwide scale with the fan bases. But just on some rap stuff, Jay-Z and Nas, they wasn't battling for the best of their era. They're essentially battling for GOAT supremacy. You know what I mean? They was battling for King of New York status. They was battling for their position as GOATs in this game because Big and Pac was no longer here. And it was more at stake. And then, and granted, with this Kendrick and Drake thing, it was a little bit more chatty, you know what I'm saying, with certain allegations. So I can't give it the nod as the greatest battle of all time over that. But what I also will say, with Jay and Nas, both opponents were on equal footing.
No doubt.
Jay was the bigger star, but as far as their abilities, they were on somewhat equal footing.
No doubt.
With Kendrick and Drake, now we in this weird situation where how big is this win for him really if the person that he took out has a questionable pen? It opens up a whole new, layer to this battle. Because he won a battle he was supposed to win, right?
Right.
And Drake is a big star, in the pop realm, and the biggest star sales-wise we have as a rapper. Mm-hmm. But if you look over your opponent, and your opponent is not cut from the same cloth that you are, as a lyricist, as somebody who crafts, their art, then how high are we really going to hold this win? And I'm just asking that question because I think it puts it in a weird space where we have to really evaluate it differently.
I think I agree with you. But here's what I would say. The Jay and Nas battle, the dynamics were so different than this that I don't think you can even compare them. Like, you can't even put them side by side, because at the time when Jay was like really on top of the world, I mean, he's done, he's doing the Hot 97 joint, Summer Jam, he pretty much took out Prodigy, right? And God bless the dead. Prodigy was one of those. Prodigy was no slouch. I mean, you just don't take out Prodigy like that. Prodigy was no slouch. And he took Prodigy out. He was having hits. I mean, if you want to call them hits, bangers, or whatever. He was having those consecutive years in a row at a time when Nas was going creative wise. You know, the whole I Am thing, we talked about that at length. How I Am was a situation where it probably could have been bigger than what it really was. Pause. He still sold albums on I Am. I Am still what went triple platinum.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even Nostradamus. Nostradamus still went platinum at that time.
Right.
The QB's Finest wasn't the greatest. It was more of a compilation of QB guys. Uchiwali was the biggest song off of that. So now you're talking about you're talking about Nas at a point where people was looking at him as taking steps back. You know what I'm saying? But if you look at it back in hindsight, in real time, it was only about the 2 year gap between him making I Am 99, Nostradamus 99. Then you had QB's Finest in 2000.
2000, yep.
You had Stillmatic in 2001. So it really, there was really not the I guess the fall off, if you want to call it that, was fabricated.
So and he was still rapping on QB's Finest. Like, let's not get it twisted. Like, he was rapping on that album.
Don't get it twisted. So I think the stakes were different because this was a point where, like you said, same thing with Drake and Kendrick. They were on a collision path. They were on a collision path. They were eventually going to get to that point. We just didn't know what was going to happen when they get to this point. Same thing with Nas. Nas and Jay was on a collision course. It was bound to happen. It was bound to happen. They were already throwing.
That's supposed to clash at the top. Nas said that himself.
That's supposed to clash at the top, and no one thought at that time that he was going to get it. Let's be real. You know what I mean? Queens get the money all day. I didn't think he was going to get the Figure 4 leg lock when Takeover came out. You know what I'm
with
saying?
You. That's a perfect diss record.
Right. Yo, peace, Jar. Peace. Yeah. So I mean, it's one of those things where when we was like, yo, when it dropped, be like, Queens get the money. We back. So I like to say this. I don't think that this battle between K Dot and Drake, I think it pushes the needle a little bit for K Dot, but I think at some point we would have to see what happens next with his album. Not so much as the battle. It's more so about what can he do after this, because you got to drop a stellar album after this.
Yeah.
When Jay dropped Takeover, it was accompanied by Blueprint. When Nas dropped Ether, it was accompanied by Stillmatic. 2 phenomenal albums within their own rights.
That's a hell of a point. Yeah.
Right. So what does Kendrick do with this? What does J. Cole do with this? Because that that song Grippy, they ain't gonna get it. I'm sorry, Cole. Grippy is not going to get it. Grippy's not going to get it.
Let's not talk about that. But that was disappointing, man. But let's address the elephant in the room, right? Because if we're gonna be, hard on J. Cole as far as the apology and then what he's come out with this Grippy song, then how do we feel about Drake and these reference tracks? What's your take on that?
Look, man, why he's taking these L's, man, you got to give him more L's, I guess. A lot of artists has a bunch of reference tracks. You know what I mean? A lot of artists has reference tracks, and he's not the only one. He's the one that we decide to continue to kick, to be quite honest. Now, this is not news. This is not new news that Drake has had a ghostwriter, reference tracks, etc. This is not new news. I think it's because we're still in the algorithm of fuck Drake or whatever you want to call that. And this is just add on. I think it's because it's a song Mob Ties, and it's time to continue to pile on to that. But there's a lot of artists, man, that we still love today that has had reference tracks or even has some suspicion of ghostwriting. Look at Dr. Dre. We love Dr. Dre. We admire Dr. Dre. We hail Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre may not have written not one verse since his NWA days, if he even wrote then, right? Because you had Ice Cube and you had MC Ren in that room. You know what I'm saying? So, again, man, it's hip hop. You're going to get criticized and ridiculed. for ghostwriting, for reference tracks, so on and so forth. And yeah, Dre is a producer. I get it, but he's also built as a rapper. The
Yeah.
Chronic is not a,
I
the
think
Chronic is not a
the difference is whether it be the Kanye situation, because we all know he has writers. We all know Dre has writers. We all know, your
yeah.
boy from Bad Boy had writers. But the difference with Drake is with the reference track and the writers, like we was talking about earlier when Lo was on here, Drake is somebody who's proclaimed himself to be the best. So when you're
Absolutely.
beating your chest saying that, making those claims, and then it comes out that you're having all this help, I think that eliminates you from a lot of these conversations. You know what I mean? And as an artist, one of the biggest artists we've had, numbers wise or whatever, I mean, he's always going to be in that discussion. I mean, he's at the top. You know what I mean? But as far as like some of the greatest MCs, you're no longer qualified. You're gonna have an asterisk by your name, right?
Okay.
Because
But does that impact someone like Lil Kim, Foxy Brown?
I mean, it does. I mean, we just have to be consistent across the board. Like we were saying earlier, we can't be selective in how we do these things. Like, Drake, the first time this came around and the Quentin Miller stuff came about, right? I think people kind of look past that to a degree, and most of his fan base just didn't care because, like, a lot of the modern day fans, they're not in tune with the rules of hip hop, like, and the artistry of it, and you need to write your own bars or what have you. They could care less just as long as the music is good, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that bothered me is these tracks are dated after the whole, Quentin Miller and Meek situation, almost like you're doubling down. Like, either you tone deaf or you don't care, right? With the reference tracks, because if the allegations came out that was true and I caught a lot of flack, even though he beat Meek at that time, I'm kicking everybody out of the room and not getting any references out of, you know what I mean? Because that was a big scandal for, that was a stain on his career at the time. So to me, the part that bothered me is this happened after that fact, like he was doubling down. And I was like, yo, that's kind of crazy. But here's another thing too. Some people might say, it don't matter if it's just a hook, if it's just a melody, which I agree with, if it's not within the bars, like somebody writing your 16s or whatever. But one thing that, not just one thing, but a few things that Drake hangs his hat on is melodies, cadences, hooks. I just had an argument with Coop on here the other day. We was on the pod. He said 50 Cent is the greatest hook writer of all time. And I was like, nah, Drake's in that conversation. But like, how much can I say that now and defend that when I don't know what hooks are of his own? You know what I mean? And then all we have in front of us is the evidence of the reference tracks that's here. But that puts speculation on everything now.
Right.
At least for me,
So let me ask you this: does reference tracks and ghostwriting, are they in the same vein as as taking flows, or are they in the same vein as biting specific lyrics?
All of them are offensive, but in the event of reference track and ghostwriting, it's being presented to you like, here, I'm gonna wrap this in the bow and give it to you, and all you got to do is put your spin on it and put it out to the world. Biting and stealing flows is just what it is. It's taking it from somebody, taking somebody else's IP, somebody else's property, and claiming it as your own. You know what I mean? Both are offensive, but we got to be consistent across the board with what we take offense to. You know what I mean? We can't say like, all right, this guy had a reference track. I hate what he did, but this guy, he's copying this person's flow and that person's flow all the time. So I'm cool with that. Like, I'm just saying we need to be consistent across the board, but I'm offended by all of it. You know what I mean? Because it brings everything in question. Like, I was one of the people on here during the battle, defending Drake when it was still up, when it was still active, when it wasn't a for real official winner declared at that point.
Yeah.
But, around those times, the Jumbotron shit popping, that reference track from Yachty came out.
Yeah.
But I didn't care about that. I mean, that song is trash. The Ratchet Happy Birthday with Party Next Door, that's Drake's worst song to me. So I'm like, I don't care, it's trash. But if the more stuff that comes out that you got reference to, like, what can we expect to be of your own?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because this is stuff that's out in the open. We don't know that's being, kept behind closed doors that's not his own. And I think we're in a weird place with that.
No, I get it. I'm more of a fan of someone who's original. You know what I mean? Does that let me ask you this then. And even for Jay fans out there, when Jay says, I'm not a biter, I'm a writer for myself and others. I said a big verse, I'm only bigging up my brother. Mm-hmm. Is that still biting, or is that him bigging up his brother?
That's Jay's spin on it. And here's for me, this is when it becomes a problem. Anything that's done in excess. A lot of people hate on Game because of the name dropping, which he doesn't do it as much present day as he did early in his career, right?
Wow.
But when something is done in excess in poor taste, then it gets to be a problem. Like Jay-Z with the taking the lines and stuff and biting you say I'm paying homage. But when it's done in excess, then it blurs that line between paying homage and biting. And I think Jay got away with it a lot of those years because a lot of his audience couldn't identify the lines he was taking. But somebody who's a savvy listener who was engulfed in hip hop, you could be like, that's Cool G Rap. That's Rakim. That's Kane. That's Big. I mean, Big was the most obvious one, but you like, yo, that's Slick Rick. That's Nas. Like, you know what I mean? So in excess is a problem. So that's where I'm at with this Drake thing. Like the Quint Miller stuff. Oh, go ahead.
I want to piggyback off of that. Give me 1 second. Matt Max said the backpack joints ain't been exposed. On the backpack off, I'm gonna piggyback off of that because you're right. Jay, he referenced a lot of Big, Nas, Ra, Kane, and others. So when he came through with the whisper flow, and from anyone out there who's from Philly in the chat, when he came through with the whisper flow, did that change anything? Because now he's adopting a cadence.
Yeah, but real ones called it out. Yeah, I know personal Jay fans that are, think Jay's the GOAT that called that whole era of Jay out. Like, yo, you copying young Chris, and you can be objective. Both things can be true. They can still be your favorite for whatever reason, but you got to call a spade sometimes. And I feel like the only thing that I've been inconsistent with in that regard was I think Dirty is one of the most, ODB is one of the most brilliant minds we've ever had in rap, just like his style and what he brought to the table. But Jizza was writing a lot of dirty stuff.
Yeah.
It was just Dirty who was delivering it.
He wrote the whole thing, and
I think that's the only time I've never had a problem with that, but it's not fair if I'm saying it's okay for Dirty to get, handed, rhymes and stuff like that, but I say it's not okay for Drake to do it. So it's a slippery slope, but I'm just more disappointed that Drake doubled down on it after it was already exposed. You know what I mean? I'm doubling down again and put, it's more reference tracks to come, but it speaks a lot to his relevancy, because if other people is giving him flows, hooks, cadences, and he's able to navigate that through the years, then no wonder he's been around and at the top so long. And people joke about the OVO sweatshop, but a lot of truth is said in jest. I guess is a real thing.
Might be a real thing. No doubt. So, let's get ready to wrap this thing up, man. We got some new music coming up in the next couple of hours now.
Yeah.
Your boy Eminem about to drop a single, the Houdini joint.
My boy.
I heard a snippet of that.
Yeah.
I laughed. It was
as somebody who's been a fan of Eminem over the years, I never get excited about his first single because his first singles are usually the corny joints. I'll reserve any judgment for when the album drops.
Yeah.
But I was surprised to see, the theme, with the whole Houdini thing and the magic and, that stuff. What Nas say, name a rapper that I ain't influenced.
Yeah. That
So,
just sounds crazy. Mad Max said, when they send the timestamp reference, he's done. I hope that'll be the end. Honestly, you're right, Mad Max.
Yeah.
That'll be the end. That'll be it. No, but we will see. We got some great music coming up. I know we heard the Hit Boy Big Hit joint with Alchemist. We'll talk about that coming up here soon.
Can I say a few words about that real quick?
Yeah.
If anybody had any confusion on that project, and this is not a full-on review, it's just a reaction. It is not, in fact, Hit Boy and Alchemist only feature rapping on one song, right? I was kind of shocked because that's what I thought. I thought they were going to be on. It was going to be a collaborative effort between Hit Boy, his father, and then Alchemist. But I was actually surprised. It's more of a Hit Boy. It's more of a Big Hit album produced by Alchemist and Hit Boy. Sharing production duty. So
right.
The beats are hard hitting. I'm trying, and it's crazy. Like some of the beats they gave Big Hit. I'm like, man, if Benny would have had some of these same joints, man, like that album might be different. Like these beats are crazy. Big Hit, what can I say? He got hard hitting lyrics. His hook writing is, pretty dope, man. Something that, people should talk about. Like I'm loving a lot of his hooks. And I think just genuinely Big Hit is the best story we got in rap right now that nobody's talking about, man. Just like, I can't say it enough. Just, doing a long bid. I want to say it was like 18 years, his longest stint. And then getting out, linking up with his son, who's a workhorse, who's putting out project after project after project. We say Nas the GOAT. He gave our GOAT 6 hell of, stellar projects, right?
Yeah.
But he didn't stop working. He's still churning out efforts with different artists and him sewing that work into his own pops, man. And his pops, delivering, on the rhymes and, putting out dope projects. After being held down for so long, I just, in the family aspect of it, I just don't think enough media outlets are talking about that, man. It's something really beautiful to see, man. And I'm glad they putting out work for real.
No doubt. Yeah, we'll get deep into that album, pause. When we get a chance to process it. Shout out to Coop. Coop couldn't make it tonight. Had a scheduling conflict. But we actually, him and I did a show earlier today. We're gonna drop that probably tomorrow morning for you all. This is something that we wanted to do as a team. We decided to do it this way. So we appreciate y'all actually pulling up tonight for this live. We're gonna drop a couple of more joints in the next couple of days. This is pretty much an anniversary for us for our 10th episode, our official 10th episode, if you will. And we want to do a little something special with it because we really want to talk about, the greatest rappers versus the greatest albums. So again, we appreciate, of course, you got to represent that. And you see what I got. You see this right here. But we wanted to give a shout out to Lo from Apple for hopping on. We all know Lo is a Hovinger. So his takes are always a funny take for us. We like to spar with him on that. But we also want to make sure we pay homage to all the rappers who have classic albums, not just the ones that we love, but the ones that we respect the most as well. So again, appreciate you all coming out. Shout out to Apple, shout out to Spotify, shout out to our sponsors out there who's showing some love as well, to Echo Radio for actually showing love and sponsoring these episodes that we have over the last couple of nights. And we got some more stuff in store. So be looking for another drop tomorrow. Shout out to the 22-4 at the Bronx for this hat. Myself, Nas, and Mello are the only three that has this particular New York Mets hat with Nas face and New York Mets on the other side. So shout out to 22 for that.
That's a flex. Subtle flex.
That's a major key. And I'll make it a couple of more and give it out to a special fan when we do some pull-ups. We are doing pull-ups real soon. We're gonna go at the hookah lounge with Low and kick that back in or whatever, pause. And we got some other joints that we got set up as well. So again, we appreciate y'all. Thank you for the chat. Thank you for the engagement and all of that good stuff.
Yo,
and,
real quick, if you're new here, subscribe, tell a friend to pull up the Hip Hop Talks, and hit the like button. It costs you nothing. So,
no
that'll
doubt.
help us out.
Absolutely. And Queens get the money. We out. Shout out to Coop Pop. Peace.
Coop.
And the team. Agent Andrew, Trife Boogie, Stacks, Taj, everybody. Peace.
Yes, sir. Peace.